welcome to the Ville, Yankeeville. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for returning back to the channel if you're a returning subscriber. And if you're new here, hopefully you like the video. At the end, if you like it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Well, let's get into the video. Yankees versus Marlins. Basically, we're just going to review the series. Some of the things that went well, what didn't go well. And then also we're going to preview for the next series against the Athletics. But overall, the Yankees, they performed this series. They won the series 2-1. Obviously, they dropped the last game of the series. That was a pretty regretful ending to the series. I mean, especially since the Yankees, they were up 4-3 towards the end of the game and let it slip away because of the bullpen. So it's definitely something that's going to be an issue, and hopefully it does become something that gets addressed towards the middle of the season or early part of the season. So the Yankees, they lost obviously to the Marlins 7-6 last game. Some of the top series performers though through the 3 games, Judge, he's definitely turning it up a little bit. I mean, for the series, he went 6 for 11 with a home run, 4 RBIs, 2 walks. And then Ben Rice, he went 3 for 10 with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 5 walks. So those are basically our 2 main performers from the last 3 games that, have been really, hitting the ball well, seeing the ball well, being patient, and really performing. But as far as outside of Judge and Rice, it wasn't a lot of consistent performance. Cody Bellinger had a decent game here and there. Stanton was pretty up and down, and Jazz was really pretty much non-existent besides that double he hit towards the end of the last game, that posted the 2 runs to get us a little closer after we were down 7-4. But as far as we're gonna get into the video, the bottom of the lineup is pretty bad. It's pretty much a ghost town. Once you hit Jazz and down, there's no production. So it's a little bit of what we accomplished last year. So definitely really needs to be addressed. Now, obviously, I just handed on Max Fried. He had a decent game. I think the thing that really separates really good pitchers from okay and bad pitchers is that when you don't have your best stuff, you're able to still grind and stay in the game and give your team the best opportunity to win. Max Fried definitely didn't have his best stuff, but he still went 6 2/3. He gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Obviously, the strikeouts are down and the walks are definitely up. So that definitely lets you know that Max Fried didn't have his control. He was missing a lot around the zone, and some pitches weren't even competitive at all. But that's the thing with Max Fried. He's an ace type pitcher. He has been doing this for a very long time, obviously. And like I said, he kept the Yankees in the game. 3 runs, that's still a quality start. He went into the 7th inning. That's all you can really ask for. Even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he kept the Yankees in the game, and he limited the damage where necessary. He gave up 3 runs, but it wasn't all at once. He gave up 1 run here, 1 run there, 1 run there, so that the Yankees could really rebound and reposition throughout the game. So that was a really good job from Max Fried. It's just kind of unfortunate that it kind of went on the wayside as soon as he came out of the game, but those things are going to happen in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and hopefully the Yankees could really learn from it and address some of those issues that we are seeing as a fan base, and hopefully that they're seeing as a coaching staff and an organization. But like I said, the bullpen concerns are definitely starting to become more of a question mark. The bullpen, they blew the game late. Fernando Cruz and Jake Bird, they gave up 4 runs in the 8th inning after Max Fried came out in the 7th. I think that's very alarming. Obviously, the game was 4-3, and then it became 7-3 or 7-4. And the Yankees obviously had to scramble. And from what we've seen over time, from the past few years with this core, the Yankees are not very good at playing behind. We've seen the Yankees play behind. They get down 6 to 7th inning. It's very hard for the Yankees to really claw back, especially if they're not hitting the home run ball like they're very accustomed to. And to begin the season, the home run ball, it's been pretty down. I mean, even at home. I mean, I just feel like a lot of the guys are kind of, filling out their legs, trying to get into mid-season form. But as far as what the Yankees do, the Yankees hit home runs, the Yankees hit doubles. The Yankees are slugging kings. And when it comes to that, when you get towards the end of the game and some of those key relievers come out, throwing 100 plus. These are the guys that are in there for run prevention. Those guys are not going to be easy to hit because you haven't seen them 2 or 3 times to the rotation. Those guys are coming in there for an inning to blow your face off, basically. So those guys, you're not going to be able to just sit on a fastball, sit on whatever, and just drive over the right field fence. Those guys are really in there on a kill mission. So I think that's what really does hinder the Yankees overall when it comes to these comebacks. You can't rely on a home run ball in the end of the game consistently as what you could do towards the beginning of the game when you have more innings to play. So I think that's definitely an issue. Now, like I said before, now it's not just the bullpen that's very concerning at this point. It's the bottom of the lineup. The bottom of the lineup is it's pretty rough. But let's go back into some of the pitching performances from the last game. Obviously, we saw Max Fried. He went 6 2/3. He gave up 3 runs. Not really his best stuff, but if you look at his ERA through his first few starts, he has a 1.35 ERA. He's been really dealing. Fernando Cruz, like I said, he gave an earned run. His ERA is not too bad right now, but he was part of the issue there. Jake Bird, probably the biggest part of the issue. As far as with the bullpen, he gave up 3 earned runs, and his ERA to this point is a 6.23. And then Ryan Yarbrough, he pretty much mopped it up towards the end of the game. He kept the Yankees right there. He didn't give up any runs. He struck out 3 people, and that was pretty solid. You need someone that's going to come in after the damage is done and just maintain. Don't add more onto the damage and more onto the plate so that it makes it harder for the team to come back. But as far as that pitching performance, not one of the strongest performances that we've seen, especially falling apart like that at the end of the game. Obviously, the Marlins, they had an okay pitching performance. Pete Fairbanks, he came in as an opener, who is their closer, and he gave up 3 runs. That's pretty bad to see a closer come in. Obviously, different circumstances because the rain delay, and it is what it is. I'm sure he's not used to coming in the first inning. He's a 9th inning guy. So, but after that, they pretty much didn't give up a lot of leeway. I mean, Bender gave up 2 runs towards the end of the game, but as far as everything else, I mean, they were some of those runs are just not earned when I'm counting it. But as far as pitching performance, the Marlins, they were able to keep themselves in the game, and they made a rally late. I mean, that's all they can really ask for. But like I said, bottom of the lineup is a very, very big issue right now. We got 4 guys that are basically not hitting or doing anything towards the end of the lineup. If we go into the lineup card from the last game and kind of review some of the performance, Trent Grisham, even at the top lineup, is not really hitting. He's 0 for 4. 172 average for the season. Judge is heating up. Like I said, he went 2 for 5. Now he's up to 250. Obviously, we want to see him more towards that 300 range. Cody Bellinger, he had an 0 for game, but he did walk three times, so he was getting on base. That's a positive. Even when you're not getting hits, you're getting on base. Ben Rice, like we said, he went 1 for 2. He had that home run, that big 3-run home run that he did have towards the beginning of the game. Stanton, he did have a good hitting game, 2 for 5. Overall, Stanton is by far right now one of our best hitters, him and Ben Rice. And then Jazz Chisholm, he went 1 for 5. He had that double towards the end of the game. We were down 7-4. It got us to 7-6, but at that point, we were getting towards the bottom of the lineup, which is exactly what we're discussing. Just no production there. Austin Wells, 0 for 4. Jose Caballero, 0 for 4. Ryan McMahon, 1 for 3. Jazz Chisholm right now is hitting 194. Austin Wells, 167. Jose Caballero, 129. And then Ryan McMahon, a pitiful .087 at this point. That is crazy. Obviously, we know Ryan McMahon is not the greatest hitter in the world, but the expectations for him to at least be a league average to slightly below league average. The guy's hitting in the 9-hole. We understand he's not going to be an Aaron Judge there, but hitting .087 is very pitiful at this point. We know it's early in the season. It's only 9 games in, but the man is striking out like no tomorrow, and he's not making any contact at all. So it's a very alarming thing right now. Is like, is Ryan McMahon gonna pull it together? We just need him to be average. If we can have him be average to a little below average in the 9 hole, that's fine, because his defense makes up for it. But at the end of the day, he is making $16 million, and he's our worst hitter on the team right now. So that's not going to cut it. These bottom 4 guys are just instant outs. For the bottom 4 guys from last game, they went a combined 1 for 5, 0 for 4, 0 for 4. So that's 1 for 13. And then they went 2 for 16 combined. 2 for 16. That is not going to do anything when it comes to competitive games when we do play better teams, whether that's like the Orioles, whether that's the Dodgers, any of those elite teams. We have to have some production towards the end of the lineup, because we can't just rely on 1 through 5. We have to turn the lineup over with some runners on the bases. We have to have someone for them to drive in. Obviously, we know 1 through 5 is going to hit. That's why they're 1 through 5. But it's not looking pretty so far when it comes to that bottom of the lineup. Now let's get into some of the previews for the Yankees versus Athletic series that's obviously going to start on Tuesday. These are some of the pitching matchups that we have slated for. Obviously, Tuesday, Cam Schlittler is going to be on the mound. To this point, he's had a very good season. He's 2-0. He hasn't given up any earned runs. 11 2/3 so far, 15 strikeouts, and a .257 whip. Cam Schlittler is dealing. We all know this. Cam Schlittler is the future of the rotation, and he's been way more than we could ever imagine. Obviously, it's still early in his Yankees career. He hasn't even thrown a full season's worth of starts, but he's been elite. So that's all we can really ask for. He's going against Aaron Savali. Aaron Savali 1-0, 3.6 ERA. He went 5 innings, 3 strikeouts with the 1 whip. So I think Cam Schlittler is definitely going to be favored in this pitching rotation. I think Cam Schlittler should really come out throwing a lot of strikes. He tends to throw a lot of strikes. He has a cutter, he has the four seam, he has the sinker. He has all those fastballs in his repertoire that really makes him dangerous, and he's definitely going to come out dealing on Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, we have Will Warren slated. He's 1-0 with a 2.7 ERA, 10 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, a 1.1 whip. So Will Warren, obviously, he came off of his last start. It was a decent start. I believe he gave up 2 runs. He didn't have his greatest stuff, but like I said in our last video when we discussed Will Warren, is that the thing that's really productive that we've seen this season compared to last season, granted it is early, is that Will Warren is not giving up those problemsome innings where he's getting 3, 4, 5 runs in an inning and he can't rebound. He's basically like, hey, I don't know what to do here. Like, I'm throwing all my pitches and they're just hammering everything. So he's able to rebound. Hopefully he does keep up that streak where he's able to get out of an inning. Even if he does give up 1 or 2 runs, he's able to limit the damage and move on instead of just having it pile, and the next thing you know, he gave up 4 or 5 runs in the inning. Luis Severino, obviously a familiar face. He's going to be starting against Will Warren on Wednesday. To this point in the season, he's 0-1 with a 6.48 ERA, with 8 1/3 inning pitched, 10 strikeouts, and a 1.8 whip. So he's definitely coming off a pretty bad few starts. Obviously, we know what Luis Severino can really do. Very talented pitcher. I mean, it's unfortunate it didn't work out with us. In that very last year that he had on the team, he was pretty much batting practice. Obviously, he had a lot of injuries, and that definitely affected his stuff in that last year he was with the team. But we're definitely going to see what he's going to do against us. Obviously, we're very familiar with his stuff, electric stuff, and it's definitely going to be a good game on Wednesday. Now, to end the series, we're going to have Ryan Weathers come back for another start. Obviously, his last start was a little rocky. I was at that game. The man got into trouble pretty fast into the game. I mean, he gave up a triple in the first inning, and next thing you know, we're down 2-0. So when it comes to Ryan Weathers, we definitely want to see him get further along into the game and limit some of the damage, limit some of the unnecessary base runners that we've been seeing early on. And we definitely want to see what he really does have to showcase. Obviously, we know he has the electric arm. He has that fastball that can reach 100, 101 at times, but we really need to see him really lock in and show the talent level that he does have. He was a first-round pick, so it's definitely going to take a little time, hopefully sooner than later, so that we can really see the talent level that he does have, whether he stays in the rotation or eventually he moves to the bullpen, which has been, some of the rumors. Obviously, we have Luis Hill, Clark Schmidt, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon. All those guys are ready to pitch. So someone's going to have to move to the bullpen eventually. And if Brian Weathers doesn't really show what he can do as a starter, he may be one of the first options to go there. Like I said, he has a 4.5 ERA, 8 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts, and a 1.875 whip. The whip is very high because he's given up a lot of base runners, a lot of singles, a lot of doubles, a lot of walks. It's just a lot of traffic going on in the base pass, and those result in a lot of things that can go wrong. All you need is a bloop and a blast, and next thing you know, you got 2 runs in an inning. And then you give up a few more runners, and then next thing you know, you're down 4-0 in 1 inning. So he really needs to limit that, and that whip is very astronomical right now. Jeffrey Springs is going to be starting against him on Thursday. To this point, he's 1-0, 2.38 ERA, 11 1/3 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, and less than a 1 whip. So it's going to be a tough matchup. It looks like Jeffrey Springs has gotten off to a pretty good start so far in a handful of starts, and he looks like he's really limiting base runners. He's really limiting runs overall. So Brian Weathers is really going to have to lock in and limit the base runners, because we may not get a ton of opportunities as far as what Jeffrey Springs is doing to this point in the season. But overall, I think the Yankees versus the Athletics is going to be a pretty good series. I think Aaron Judge is going to continue his hot streak that he's done. Giancarlo Stanton has been hot as well. He's hitting almost 400. Ben Rice almost in 400. We really need to get Grisham going. Cody Bellinger has had some good games and some okay games. We really need to see a good consistent level out of Cody Bellinger as well. But the real big focus, like I said, for these next 10 games or so, 10, 15 games or so, is we got to get more production out of the bottom of that lineup, 6 through 9. And we really need to get some consistency out of the bullpen. We've seen Doval have some good games, and we've seen him have some bad games. We've seen Bednar come in and shut it down, and then we've seen Bednar come in and give up runs in the 9th. So, and then also we got Jake Birds, we got Yarbrough has been okay. It's just it's not consistent. And the bullpen, we obviously knew in the offseason it was going to be a question mark, and it's already been a question mark through our first 10 games. So those are things we really need to see go into this next series. And the Athletics, I mean, obviously they're not having a pretty good season so far, but they do have some talented players. Brent Rooker just hit a walk-off against the Astros the other day. These guys do have a lot of power. So yeah, the Athletics definitely a very talented team, whether it's a Brent Rooker, Nick Kurtz, Langoliers, Soderstrom, Jake Wilson. All these guys are very good. Or Jacob Wilson. I said Jake Wilson. All these guys have good talent, whether that's, getting on base, hitting for some power. These guys are not going to be something to be slept on. Obviously, they're no Dodgers, or they're no, Blue Jays or anything. I think they really lack in the pitching side, and just overall, just some of the fundamentals. They do make a lot of mental mistakes and things of that nature, but they are a young team, and they do have some veteran guys on there that are all-star caliber guys. Like I said, Brent Rooker, Nick Kurtz, Rookie of the Year. These guys they're hungry, and obviously they're playing to prove themselves. They go to Vegas in 2 years, and these guys are really going to give the Yankees a good game or a good series. So it's definitely going to be a good series to watch, and the Yankees can't sleep. The Yankees have to play every game like it's the end of the season, like they're going into the playoffs. I know we're only going to be on game 10, but the Yankees really need to keep up the consistency, and we really need to see some improvements in the areas that we discussed. Let me know what you guys think of the last series against the Marlins, some of the highs, some of the lows, and what do you think about the next series that we have against the Athletics? How do you think the Yankees are going to fare offensively, pitching-wise, bullpen? What do you think are going to be some of the keys to victories that we need in the next 3 games? And just overall, how do you think the Yankees are going to fare going into the middle of the season and going into the end of the season? But thank you for watching the video today. Welcome to the Ville, Yankeeville.